It's a classic.
Pavement. Terror Twilight. The fifth
Classic.
album and the final album from the American band that Liam and Yanni Pacific Trim. Didn't really work. They've rimmed them.
No.
That's what I was getting
you
at.
You really tried there, didn't you?
I did really try, but it was also
no.
off the cuff, but it came in.
Just don't do that
Came
again.
in. No, I never will. Never will. Yeah, Yanni, tell me about this album, please, mon frère.
Okay, it came out in 1999. As of recording this, we are already late to the anniversary, but you know we're not far off. So
Don't tell
it
them.
was June 8th.
They don't know that.
I mean,
Oh, don't,
it's not.
They might not.
It's
have
not
left
out
the
by
calendar.
that. Okay, you're right. Ignore that. Redact that. Okay, you didn't hear that. Like Carl said, it is the final album, unfortunately, by Pavement. This one produced by Nigel Godrich. By gum, can you tell?
It's certainly produced. I'll say
It's
that
definitely produced. Were you anticipating this album, Liam?
much. As a 1.5-year-old, yes, I big fan of Godrich for years. At the time, I was a big Radiohead head. My first words actually were, "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo." So, I was a big fan of Godrich and very much looking forward to Terror Twilight. Does that answer your question?
That more than
Thank you.
beautiful. Yeah, we're gonna do a little dive into it and give our thoughts. There's a couple of things, typical questions that we've definitely prepared and have got ready to go. We're talking about the OG order. Is that correct, Godfrey?
We are, because that's what the anniversary is of, isn't it? So we also want the OG order. What Ioannis is
We are.
referring to here, if anyone was unaware, was that. Are we lost?
No, I'm trying to find the
I've got 'em.
questions.
I've got them there in the chat.
Oh, I felt like you were both looking at me really weird, and then there's some pings going on.
Well, like you said, you are a creep, you are a weirdo.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, so there was a version, a infamous. No, not the right word. The word I want to say is like it was well known, but also it was kind of like a secret. Of the Godrich order of Terror Twilight.
Or tier order.
That he had put forward, and Scott Spiral Stairs Camberg got on me consonants a bit muddled there, didn't I? Decided against it. What are we laughing at? I don't know.
That's gonna make me rewatch this video.
I don't know what's funny about but I'm not being funny. Who goes by Spiral Stairs and their first name's Scott and doesn't have a surname again with an S? Do you know what I mean? I was really thrown off for a second there. We'll call him Scamberg from now on. Scamberg, more like. Anyway, he decided. Oh, I don't know the story. Listen, Google it. But anyway, they ended up with this version of the track list, and later released the Godrich version. The Godrich order was part of the Farewell Horizontals reissue box set a few years ago. But yes, we're talking about the original, which kicks off with "Spit on a Stranger." Which sure is an interesting way to kick off an album, isn't it?
Yes. And that is true. It's also the first single that was released for the album.
That makes
sense. A lot of firsts there. I mean, I love Spit on a Stranger.
Yeah, it's one of the best songs.
Now,
as are all of them.
Question for the boys, that comes from a non-Pavement head.
It was around tonight, huh?
Yeah, I assume that this album is it's not as revered as the other ones because it's
not
produced so much.
It is not.
Now, as an entry-level boy, I like this a lot. And I know I've said that with every Pavement album I've actually listened to, but still don't have the urge to ever return off my own back. I do feel like this is definitely my in route because it sounds
You're
nice.
the in, bro.
You said that
I'm
about
not.
You're Enchanted, which is the least produced album on the planet.
Yeah, but saying that, I've not listened to it since.
But you said this at the time.
Yeah,
guy.
but I've. This one's more aligned to. I hope I don't offend anyone when I say this. This one's more aligned to like Elliott Smith, kind of, in terms of sounds in my head. It's what I associate it with because it sounds nice, while his voice is still not fantastic. So it kind of, I know, but for me, I'll return to this more because it's not as harsh.
I don't like anything you said before
Pure
last
waffle.
line,
Pure
but
waffle.
It's not pure
I'll
waffle.
I'll take
Pure
that.
waffle.
Pure waffle.
I mean, if anything, his voice is probably at its
It sounds
best
great.
within Pavement.
No, it is
one of
but
my
it's still
points
not-
to make. It sounds great.
It does for him, but it's still not exactly amazing, is it?
What do you want? Fucking.
No, I'm not. But I start
Couldn't
what I'm
think of
saying.
anyone. Celine Dion. Right.
Definitely
Not
not.
anymore, you don't.
Andrea Bocelli. Wow, what's happened? Anyway.
I'll move on from that quickly, please. Don't linger.
Anyway, Spit on a Stranger is the song we're still on here. Just a great tune. Some of the best like lyric writing, some of the best kind of vocal melodies from Malcolmus. I love it. The complementary guitar throughout is great. Just a great opener. And honestly, as much as maybe you prefer the Godrich version, the Godrich order, I do love sticking Terror Twilight on and this being the welcome. You know, it feels good to get
Disagreement.
Oh,
Disagreement. We're not talking about the Godrich version, are we?
I know.
what would
I
you?
think we're going to have to refer back to it because it's just a talking point that's
Yeah, it
Good.
could be a different video.
too late.
But do you think, Yanni, without, would you have said before you knew the Godrich order that this was a bad opener?
Well, that's difficult to answer.
I don't think Yanni's saying he thinks it's a bad opener.
But I
Which I
said,
think it is.
I specifically said, you know, despite the fact that I prefer the Godrich order, I still think this is a good opener, and Yanni said he disagrees. So
Yeah, maybe he did then.
So that would imply to me that you don't think it's a good opener, regardless.
No, maybe it is a good opener. Sorry,
Fantastic.
I have been confused with what you said. I thought you just meant. Never mind.
No, it's actually
this
sorry,
one
Twilight. It's not
is-
Nirvana. This one, mate. Sorry,
yeah,
we'll do
thanks.
that another time.
This is this has a lot of nostalgia just embedded within the musicality of it. I feel like it feels heavily 90s, but also like not old.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like I'm listening to something that's really old here. Oh, that was bad. Yeah,
No worse than what I said, mate. Don't worry.
yeah. We do have next folk jam, not folk jam, as you might be confused if you were just to read it without
A
understanding
lot
how
of Americans
words
say
work.
folk. I've heard
They're
that.
wrong because Americans are all idiots.
Apart from Pavement.
Yeah.
No, this
I
is
don't-
this is where I think that the original order's strange.
Yes.
Why is this the second song on the album? I'm fully aware that this is all completely poisoned by the fact that we now know what the proper order should be.
Mhm.
Because beforehand I never had an issue with any of it, but now I do. You know, it becomes obvious. Once
It's annoying that we know what the good one is because I feel it would have been interesting if we would have picked up on the fact that we would have preferred it in a different order. Whether we would have just said, you know what, it's a bit odd this. I think I would have started this here or put this here later on. But yeah, this song being here, I don't really ever revisit folk jam.
Yeah, not on its
because
own.
it's not one that I'm really a massive fan on. So for it to be second place on here, it's very much like, oh, I'm starting off strong, I like this, and then I'm immediately put off.
Yeah, I mean, I very much enjoy listening to it. I think it's got some great it's got sections to the song that keep it kind of fresh.
No fucking way, bro. Sections in the song.
You know, just imagine this. The parts that sound different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, John.
But yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying. It's an interesting one. It's obviously very kind of, it's very Pavement-y, whilst also like in terms of the instrumentation and stuff, it's just not. So I find it a cool mix in that sense of different sentimentalities.
I feel like they've always got one or two songs on their albums which are very much like, we're going to try something weird instrumentally here, and this is definitely one of those ones on this album.
For sure.
Yeah. Callum?
I really like this one.
What?
Which, I know. I do think that's kind of how I seem to enjoy Pavement. The ones that you two are kind of a little bit more indifferent on are the ones that I seem to gravitate towards. I have no idea why. It's not a conscious effort, but it seems to just be...
You've pissed Yanni off so much, he's gone. I'll tell you. That's the final straw.
It just kind of seems to be what happens. I don't know. I think what I assume is the chorus vocal melody is fun, mimics the guitar. That's nice. It just kind of has a bit going on, which, without being completely erratic, which is a nice juxtaposition to the Pavement that I have enjoyed in previous times. It tends to be more wild and a bit heavier, whereas this one seems a lot more considered, and I think it works well as a result.
I think that's a great statement for this whole album, in some respects.
Considered.
And I think a lot of that is probably just having such a solid producer on board to lock them in, and also stories from in the studio at the time of like.
Got a quote?
Have you got a quote? Go on. Go on.
Talking about the studio time, Malcolm has said, we paid for the studio time, of course, which started to get expensive because Godrich had his own standards.
There we go. And obviously this was the end of Pavement. Malcolmus was kind of, I think, sick of...
Half out the door.
The band, sick of the band dynamic in some stretch. I don't remember now whether this album was just him, or was it all of them? Was it surprisingly they were all involved, but they all didn't get on? There's, one or the other. It was kind of like, I don't know what point was going to be there anyway. But it was an interesting time for Pavement, and obviously it reflects in the music. But it's certainly a lot more considered, I think, because of just where they were at this point. Obviously, Bright in the Corners had just come out, which again is a very, very good album. And you can definitely see the through road from there to here. But yeah, it's a funny thing. I've only really recently kind of noticed the production. It's something that people would always talk about on this album as it being kind of overproduced, and for a lot of people, that's the kind of issue with it. And as an early listener of Pavement, I never ever, I could obviously tell it was more produced than Slanted and Enchanted, but now I can kind of see the actual kind of what's that's added to the album in a sense,
Yeah, it's definitely
what's not music
bonus.
Work and what's production work. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that just comes from understanding production a bit more, but
yeah, it's definitely to its benefit. I don't get the criticism towards it being more produced, because everything just sounds better without taking away from what Pavement is, like you were sort of saying there.
Yeah, I mean, you can still hear like the guitars where like they just stop a string, and obviously the very unique guitars playing from both of them. You can still get all of that. It's just more clear. Yeah, I guess maybe just the production comes alongside these more kind of clean sounding songs, maybe, and that style is less to people's liking than the earlier stuff, and that's just an extension. It's just an easy thing to latch on to complain about, maybe, rather than saying you just don't like the sound they're going for. But anyway,
you can see the start of the Malcolmus solo arc as well.
Oh, for sure.
From this to his debut.
For sure. I get more and more surprised every time I revisit that first Malcolmus album of just how Pavement-y it is. in a sense, you know. Everything after that seemed very kind of unique, but like between Terror Twilight and that first Malcolmus album.
Jennifer, the Star and Spit on a Stranger, pretty similar guitar riffage going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if we're doing it track by track, I don't really know how you want to do this. You Are a Light.
I don't feel equipped to do it track by track, by the way. So feel free to just take the reins and I'll chime in wherever.
Right. Well, this next couple of songs on this order are a highlight for me. Well, just to note they are. You Are a Light, Cream of Cold, Major Leagues. Those 3 songs in a running are top quality for me.
Absolutely.
I just, especially this and Major Leagues, 2 are more slow songs in terms of more chilled out. I really like this, and I feel like this is what I was linking to earlier about the Malcolmus solo project. You can sort of see that cascading into it. What am I saying?
Yeah, you're spot on. Like, I think this is like these 3 lights are these 3 songs. Sorry, are like I don't want to say the pinnacle of Pavement, but it's like this is what you're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Quintessential.
It's quintessential Pavement.
So...
Exactly. It covers all the bases. Spot on there, Carl. Well done, mate. You've got You Are a Light, which I just love this song. Like, it's such a nice song to listen to. Like, Malcolmus smashed the vocals on this. Like, it just the way he sings is so pleasant to listen to. And then it's got the weird outro, which is very strange and kind of gets a bit heavier. It's great. Cream of Gold fucking rocks my socks off every time. Single time.
The tones.
I've got that on right now. Very nice.
Guitar tones on this are just killer.
So good. And then I say Major Leagues, that kind of just slower guitar playing, that really, really thoughtful guitar playing, really, and songwriting in general. The whole band are smashing it, really. Possibly, I don't know if it's where it'd rank on my favourite Pavement songs, but it's probably one of their best Pavement songs. Major Leagues.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely up there within potentially top 10.
In terms of just pure like songwriting and playing ability and stuff, it's like
the feel of it is so nice, so chill. And just to go back to it, Cream of Gold, I feel like that's one of the songs that it didn't have Nigel involved. Could have been very rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And not as good.
It's got like a forebodingness about it, a kind of harrowing sound to it. That would have been completely lost if it was just pure noise. Like it's got like this. It crawls up the back of your spine, sort of.
Yeah, it's like the Hex coming up later on, where it's got that kind of like, something dark's happening here.
Well, yeah, there's obviously older versions of the Hex that have been around forever because forever, but they're a bit longer than this album anyway, because they were playing it live for a while, and they never do it for me. Like, there's certain parts of those songs that are like kind of like the guitar lines or the way someone's sung a bit differently, but like the version on this album, it really kind of gets under your skin in a weird way. Back up to Platform Blues.
Aye.
This is obviously another wild moment on the album, sort of like folk jam. Lots of chunks to this song. It's one of those, as it starts, I always think like, it gets into a lot, and I don't know if I'm always prepared for that. But once it's going, I'm on board, baby, choo choo. Like the middle to like the end of this song is just great.
Got some facts.
Oh, go on then.
Please.
Johnny Greenwood added harmonica to this song and to the song Billy, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yep.
But there you go.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
Facts implies multiple.
Talking of Billy, the next 3-song run is also a highlight for me. In a completely different way than the previous 3-song run.
Well, not actually Billy for me, but we can discuss that. But yeah.
Okay. And Don't Cry is one of my favourite Pavement songs.
Same.
Wow, I didn't know that about you.
Same. Honestly, wow. This is definitely top 5, probably.
I'd say so. Yep.
I always put this one on. Always.
It's
this
the
is
one
my go-to Pavement song.
Yeah, and it's also the one that when I put Twilight on, I'll notice and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got that coming up. So it's one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Where is this one on the Godrich version? Do you have to wait as long? Are you edged as much?
It's a 5th track.
Not as much.
Yeah.
Just after Cream of Gold.
Cream of Liam. Where?
Oh yes.
What was your question about to be?
I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on it, Callum.
This particular song I don't remember. However, I've got it on now and it does sound delightful. I was busy when I was listening to this before. I did specify. I've listened to this album in the past and I enjoyed it. But in terms of an actual review, I don't feel equipped. Platform Blues, which we kind of glossed over, I really like that one. But yeah, and Don't Cry, it sounds very nice.
What is going on there?
What?
Do you like the ones that we're just indifferent? Well, more indifferent to.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's worked that little.
And Don't Cry, only Pavement could have done this song. And I feel like it's that with most Pavement songs, to be fair, is the pretty unique band. But only Steve Malcolm could have written this song, is what I would say.
Yeah.
I assume
because he did.
Yeah. I'm sure he did.
He did. Like, I've checked that.
Just a great song. It's so like, I don't know. It's just got such a je ne sais quoi about it, you know. It just feels so homely in a weird way.
Yeah.
While also like emotional, you know. And don't cry. Don't you cry, Anne? Don't you cry. It goes into Billy then, which is a bit more of a kind of a tonal relief, I suppose, after And Don't Cry. But Yanni, you have
fucking Thesaurus HQ. Never mind fucking False HQ. Christ.
Yanni, you have some not so positive thoughts about this one potentially.
It's just, I like this album, very much like this album. But then there's a couple of songs on it that I just am indifferent to, and this is definitely one of them. It's never struck a chord with me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree. So I'm not. Yeah, I suppose that could be the case. I think
I have got more to say. The change into, that happens.
Like
that part, yeah. It's so abrasive for me. It just seems different. I think that's going to be a Marmite situation.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to comment on that because I assumed that was the issue, because I completely get that. That when that happens, that feels very kind of mid to late Jix to me. Right. Weirdly, like something that like would happen a bit more on like Mirror Traffic or We Got a Jag Bag sort of thing. Which is weird that it kind of is here so early on. But the rest of the song for me is just so kind of pleasant and interesting that it's I can see where the issue is with it.
It is just that change up that puts me off it, because I do, like you say, it is pleasant otherwise, but because that happens, I'm very much hesitant to ever put it on.
Fair enough. Speak so you remember.
Oh please, let's speak about it.
Little sexy jazzy number. Just the whole like first half is so like just weirdly interesting, slow kind of build, and then it breaks into that second half, which is one of the most satisfying things I've ever heard in my life. Every time I listen to it, I love everything that's going on. The bass line is so good, the guitar is so good. It's so
yeah. I noticed again the production quality on that change up. The bass tone is just perfect. And so it's that little riff that plays in the guitar. It's just.
Then there's a little bit where it gets like fuzzy for a few seconds, and then just drops straight back into it. Honestly, perfection.
Again,
Perfection.
so such a unique song. This.
They're such a good band. Jesus Christ. I don't know how they weren't more popular at the time. This is a shame this was the last of them. I mean, I know obviously we got loads from Alchemist afterwards, so it didn't feel like there was no more, but they were kind of at their prime, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of kind of what their potential was at its prime. I think they've done better stuff previously, potentially, than some of this, but like this is still fantastic.
Ended on a high. The Hex is next. Again, we've mentioned it before, but yeah, the sort of uncomfortable, brooding nature of this song, I love. It feels weird when you listen to the rest of the album because apart from Cream of Cold, it's not really of that. But anytime this comes on, I'm immediately drawn in by the tone of it and everything. It's just, yeah,
definitely. It's not one I'd put on. But yeah, it fits so well at the end of this album. Interestingly, the Godric Shore, this is the second song on the album.
Yeah.
And obviously Spit on Strange is the last song. It's like just a complete flip. And I don't know which one I prefer more, really, if I'm being honest. I do think this works really well at the end of the album.
Well, this isn't the last one.
This is making me feel incredibly anxious.
Yeah. The song? Yeah, so it should.
Uncomfortable, did you say?
Anxious.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. That's what we're talking about.
And then
just wait till it kicks into the sort of chorus, though. Because that's very like a much of a change up with the "I saw you" part. That's very much like a ascension kind of moment.
Yeah, it really is.
Just what it needs.
Such a good part of the song. And then after that big build up of anxiety and being scared, you have Carrot Rope.
What? Yeah. Such a weird ender, in my opinion. Now.
Rope.
I do love Carrot Rope, but it's so weird that this is. I don't know. I don't know. It sort of has the same nostalgic vibe as Spit on a Stranger to me. That same kind of. I get that feeling.
Whimsy.
Going on. Yeah, whimsy. Yeah. Especially lyrically. I think this is very funny.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great song. It is a good song. It's very interesting. It's very the back and forth between Malcolmus and whoever it is. I don't think it is Scott actually. One of the other guys in the band.
Bob.
I don't think it's Bob either. Must be Mark. Oh, the lyrics. The lyrics. Oh, apparently it's Malcolmus, Spiral, and Mark Highbold. But yeah, just a good time. It feels like a good song to close the album on. Which again is strange to say when I again would say that I prefer the Godrich Order, but it wasn't a bad choice. It does feel like the final kind of hurrah from Pavement in a way, especially with the 3 vocals and the 1, which is nice. And I guess it's the only time Scott sings on the album. There's no Spiral Stairs songs on this album.
Not on the main album.
Which I think may be the only album.
It's probably.
Are you gonna say that's why it's good? Are you forgetting that Passat Dream exists?
I'm not forgetting. I'm only messing with you. And that is the end of the tracks for this version of Terror Twilight. Now, Callum, I believe.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry. I just thought you were gonna ask me a question.
You're here for
but apparently, I have some questions for you, boys. You think this album's aged well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I don't think there's anything here that would age it. I don't think it particularly feels like. I get what you're saying, Yanni, about it sounding. Part of it sounding pretty 90s, but it doesn't feel like a 90s album. I feel like a very good upcoming band could release this today, and I would be very interested in that band. There's no reason that it's. The fact that it's 25 years old seems crazy.
Yeah, the production makes it seem so modern, but yeah, I think it has aged well.
I also find it mad that Pavement were releasing music when we were alive.
Just about, yeah.
Only the last 2 albums. Yeah. Oh, I guess Bright in the Corners probably was before I was born. I don't know. I assume.
Couldn't tell you.
February, so yes,
yeah,
it was.
Yes, this is the only album.
But yeah, seems strange to me. I don't know why. What was your first experience with this record?
Don't know. Go back and listen to Bright in the Corners.
Wonderful.
I'll probably mention it in there. It was in college. It was. So how old were you then?
As it all was.
Yeah, 18.
15? No, sorry, 17 or 18. No, 17.
I would have been 18.
18?
Yeah, because I'm sure it would have been past October.
Would it?
Yeah, you turn 18 straight away, don't you?
I remember revising, which I only would have done just before the exams. And listened to
You weren't second year college, were you? You were away.
Yeah, but you turned 18 the first year.
You don't.
Do you? No, you don't.
You don't.
No, you turned
17 the first.
Sorry, yeah, the thing I had mixed up there was that I knew you turned the milestone age in that year, which was I could learn to drive. So yeah, sorry, it was 17. Not that I could start drinking. Both milestones.
Making these kind of mistakes, Liam.
So 17. Yeah, God, it was before.
I feel like I was late to listening to this album in terms of like when I actually started listening to Pavement. I feel like I maybe didn't put this one on first. Might be one of the last ones. For some bizarre reason. I think
it was the same for me, if I'm being honest. I think I did Bright in the Corners and then went back to the beginning and then worked my way back. Yeah. So yeah, but it would have been around there, 17, 18 also, for me anyway.
Is that alright, Carl?
Does that answer your fucking question?
Yeah, man. What would be your favourite track from TT?
And Don't Cry.
I think we both said And Don't Cry, I think, really.
Yeah.
Yep. And how would you compare it to their other works?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
For me, second or third, depending on the day. This and Crooked Rain are pretty tight.
Oh,
but
are they?
I don't. I kind of feel like I enjoy the highs of Crooked Rain more, but as an album, I think I prefer Terror Twilight. So,
I may have said this to you as well, but each time I listen to this album, it grows. In I don't know. I get erect when I listen to this album. I think I appreciate it more and I rank it higher. And I don't know if now it is my favourite Pavement album. It could well be, because Bright in the Corners I would have said is number one, but that's because it was the first Pavement album I listened to, so that is heavily tied down with nostalgia.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with those points. But I
wasn't finished, so you could just
please continue.
But
no, please take longer.
You're making me. I did revisit Bright in the Corners the other day, and it felt weird listening to some of those songs. I didn't get the same nostalgic feel as I once did. So I think this might be my favourite Pavement album. Shoot me.
It's brave.
Wow. I've just read that Stephen Malcolm supports Hull City.
Is that a question?
I'm just fucking confused.
Hull City, they have a tiger on that thing.
Yeah, Hull City Tigers is their chairman wanted to rename them.
We are the Tigers.
Malcolm's have a song called Tigers. Yeah, we are the Tigers.
Oh, he says it's because of a guitar tech, Andy Dimmock. That's why he supports Hull. So it's.
Well, I Dimmock ask. I don't know about you, Liam. So if you enjoyed us talking about this album, and it's in superior track listing order, then let us know down below, and also tell us your thoughts. Where do you rank it amongst the Pavement albums? Like the vid, subscribe, ding that bell, because we're bound to cover Pavement again. It's gonna happen whether Cal likes it or not. So she said he doesn't. He does. Thank you for watching, and don't cry.
Don't cry.